So just some general advice on how to write a comparative essay paragraph. So the actual structure itself, there's only really two options. Well, there's three, but two of them aren't as good as the others. So option number one is that you do text one, and then you do text two, and you kind of do them separately like that. It's pretty impossible to compare that way, so try and avoid it if you can. Option number two is more like this. So each hand is a text. So you would say text one, you talk about it at length, then you would say whereas or by contrast, and then you do text two. It doesn't matter which way you do it. You can't be too nuanced in the way that you compare that way, because you are just saying text one and then that it's overall similar or overall different to the other one. What you really want to be doing is this as much as possible. So each hand here is a different text. And so you might talk about, say, a scene and a quote, and that might be one thing that goes together. Then you might add a discussion of the time period, so in the 20s, in the 1930s, in the 60s, in the 50s, whatever text, whenever your text was written, produced, directed, whatever it is. Then you might add, say, an example, a quote, talk about the author's message, and try and, as much as possible, link it that way. And at each linking point, you'd be using a comparative phrase, such as whereas, however, by contrast, not however, that's a terrible example, but whereas, by contrast, similarly, things like that. So